Hello and welcome. I'm Reese Allen, bringing you the Student Spotlight segment on Point Blank. This week we have special guest Jacob Magancola. Jacob, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're involved with here on campus.
Hey, so first of all, thank you guys for having me. I'm really grateful to be here. So I am a senior here at High Point University. I have a major in marketing and a minor in sports management. That's kind of what I do in the academic side of things. And then what I'm involved in outside of school, I am a dining intern, marketing intern for Airmark, who runs all the dining on campus. Been doing that since freshman year. I am a brother of Alpha Kappa Psi, which is a professional business fraternity. I also am involved in Entrepreneurship Club. And what else am I involved in? American Marketing Association too.
So I guess the better question would be, what aren't you involved with on campus?
Yeah, that's a great
So talk to us a little bit about HBU dining. I know that you've had a little bit of background in that, since your freshman year.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of turned into a business almost. So give us a little bit of insight on that.
Yeah, so as I said before, I've been involved with HBU dining since freshman year. It's something that I'm really passionate about. I get to do a lot of marketing related things with them. One of the primary things that I do with them is a VOC survey. VOC stands for Voice of Consumer. So pretty much I'm somebody who walks around in the main dining halls with an iPad and I ask people to kind of rate their experience. It gives us good feedback as to what we can do better as a program. But basically one day, as I got involved with Entrepreneurship Club last year, I had this idea of starting a business where I took my grandmother's recipe for biscotti, which is a type of Italian cookie. You usually dunk it in your coffee. I kind of wanted to take this biscotti and kind of make a business around it, because whenever I've been making it with her, I've had so many, it'd be family, but also friends. They would run over whenever she would be in town and we'd be baking them together. And I kind of realized that there was kind of a demand for this, and I was like, well, maybe I could kind of make some money selling this. So as I got involved with Entrepreneurship Club, they gave me a lot of confidence to start a business. And I was talking with my boss at HBU Dining about this, and he said, well, not for nothing, but I mean, you do work for dining. Like, we have these amazing kitchens here. We have a chef who strictly makes pastries and cookies and everything for us on campus. And he was like, we should work on a recipe that's similar to the one that you have, and we can kind of help you launch the business. So I said, wow, that's great. Going forward from there, we, like I said, worked on a recipe. Karen, who is the head baker on campus, she was making them for me as I was kind of involved in so many other things on campus. And basically what would happen is she would make them in these little 3-packs in a little cellophane bag. And I had somebody who also worked in dining, a graphic designer. He made a logo for me. And we would just kind of stick the logo on there. And we started selling them in the C-store, which is in the Wannick C-store. And it was a huge hit. I mean, they literally would bring out like 50 packets of these things, and they would sell out in less than 24 hours. Like, the demand was insane for them. And that was happening in the spring of last semester. So unfortunately, we had to go home halfway through, and I kind of took matters into my own hands when I was home, and I bought a domain for a website, biscottidifrancesca.com, and kind of built that out and have been selling biscotti nationally ever since.
Wow, that's really impressive. I mean, backing up a little bit, you said that they're produced here on campus and then sold in the stores. So those are really fresh, really fresh products. Wow. That's really great that you were able to, take advantage of that dining internship here and then turn it into, your own business. Mm-hmm. And that's so great that HBU was really able to, help you in that.
Yeah.
And then, as you were saying with COVID and everything, starting that, literally as all of this is happening, that definitely must have been, scary as a new business owner. So I can't imagine all the different aspects that you had to think about, but it's really great to hear that it's still successful and, running and shipping nationally.
Yeah.
What would be some of your tips that you would have for somebody who would have an interest in starting their own business or even producing their own food product? What would you say to that person?
Yeah, so one thing that I always tell people, especially if it's food related, I struggle with this a lot, because there's so many people that are like, oh, like, I'd love to kind of bake with you, because they love my product and they kind of want to, I have a kitchen in my house and they're like, oh, like, I'd love to bake with you. And you want to be nice and you want to help them out, but one thing that's really important is that similar to, like, if you have a patent or something like that for a smartphone, that's protected, right? Like, you're the owner of that patent. When it comes to a recipe, there's no actual protection. You have to be very careful. You can't just give your recipe out to anybody. And that's why even when I worked with dining, like, I know the recipe that I use, but I didn't want to give that recipe to them, because God forbid tensions got hot between us. They could easily have that product in their in their database, and they could sell it to to other businesses, and they could be making a lot of money off of it, and then I have no ground to stand on. So one thing is with food is you have to be really careful. Everything is done with like trade secrets. I'm sure you're familiar with Coca-Cola. They keep their recipe in a nuclear-proof vault. And nobody knows what the actual recipe is except for like 3 people, and none of those 3 people are allowed to be in the same room at the same time. So for me, the recipe is something I hold very close to my chest. But another thing too, in terms of starting a business in general, the biggest word of advice that I always give people is just go out and talk to people. You'd be amazed the amount of people who are out there that would love to share their knowledge and insights. So for one example is when I was in quarantine, I spoke with a woman by the name of Kathleen King. For those of you who don't know who Kathleen King is, she is the founder of Tate's Bake Shop. If any of you guys have had her product, you go into any grocery store, actually if you go into the C-store.
Those are actually my favorite, not to cut you off. I'm just like, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I actually spoke with Kathleen King. She sold her company to Mondelez, which is a massive food corporation, for $100 million. I reached out to her on LinkedIn, and she just so happened to get back to me, and she said, let's have a conversation. Let me give you some word of advice. And she was amazing. She literally kind of explained everything, how she was able to start her business, which she was very similar with me. She started making these cookies in college over the summer, and she would sell it to all these people in the Hamptons in New York, and they fell in love with it, and she kind of ran with it after graduating, and kind of gave me a lot of hope that maybe this is something that I could do when I graduate.
That's really great to hear. I mean, that's insane that you were able to get in contact with her.
Yeah.
And backing up to the Coca-Cola thing, I had no idea that that was a thing, and that's such a smart point. You totally can't share your recipe.
Absolutely.
You have to keep that on lockdown. So that's really like an interesting aspect I just didn't even think about when you're considering food products, and you have to be careful about all that security, not sharing that with other people.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Up next, we have entertainment and fashion with Riley and Corinna.
Thanks, Reese. Hey, everyone. I'm Riley.
And I'm Corinna.
And welcome back to the entertainment segment. And for this week, we will also be doing the fashion segment. So we're going to start talking about entertainment. Big Brother is on. You don't watch Big Brother, right?
I don't, so tell me a little bit about it.
Okay, so this season is All-Star season. Use that term loosely because this season has just tanked.
Okay.
I mean, it's just been such a disappointment for me, for a bunch of other fans. Like, nobody good is winning anything. Like, everyone, there's a lot of controversy in the house too. So like people have made like racist marks, sexist marks, like it's just not good. It's
messy.
It's just, when you have like hopes for something and you just seem so excited and then all of a sudden it's just really lets you down.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's how that's going. I mean, I'm still gonna watch it just because I've been watching it for so long, but I'm just really disappointed.
If you had to choose like your favorite person on the show, who would it be?
Well, all of my favorites left.
Okay.
But the person I'm rooting for right now, I would say, is either Nicole or Cody.
Okay.
I think they're just playing the best games, and I hate them the least out of everybody.
Okay.
So I think that's where I would go with my winner picks. I'm excited for the season to be over, to possibly get a fresh start on the show, maybe like next summer, or if they do Celebrity or something. But it's just been a letdown.
How's Julie doing? I know Julie Chen is the host of it.
She's doing good. I think she is even disappointed with it. Like, she makes little comments every now and then saying things about the cast and about the show. But I mean, it just looked like it went all downhill since the beginning of the season. So I guess there's no recovering now, but I don't know. I guess we'll see how it plays out on finale night.
I definitely was thinking about watching it, but
it
made me not want to anymore.
You can watch it for a good laugh or
a
cry,
like
depending on your mood.
Oh,
but yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but we'll move on to Jennifer Lopez. Did you hear about her?
Yes, didn't she get nominated for the People's Choice Award?
She did. She's nominated for the People's Icon Award for the People's Choice Awards this year, which is like a super big thing. Only one person gets it every year. I think that's really awesome for her.
I agree with you. I think it's awesome for her, and I think this year she really sprouted out. I know she did the halftime performance like recently, but She also did the movie Hustler. Did you see the movie?
I didn't. I want to see it, but I haven't seen it yet. Have you
I
seen
thought it was different. I saw it with my mom, so it was like an interesting dynamic. But
Yeah.
I think J-Lo, she sings, she dances, she acts. Like, what else?
Triple threat.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I wasn't surprised that she got the award. I think she definitely deserves it, and she's been through a lot. So.
Yeah, I kind of think she's underrated in some aspects. I think she is like an icon. That's the award she's getting. But not many people can sing, act, and dance the way that she does.
Yeah, and have the body she does at her age, too.
Yeah,
so.
is she like 50 something?
Yeah,
That's insane.
she's killing it. And she has how many kids? 2?
I have no idea.
I think she has
but
2 kids.
Two
and
kids.
She's getting married, and I just read something that her daughter's going to sing at her wedding or something
Oh,
like
that's
that.
nice.
It's
I
kinda
think her daughter performed in the Super Bowl too with her, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting for her. I think the Super Bowl really capped off her career. I mean, she's had a long career from in a bunch of different aspects, but I think that performance really capped it off. I saw something not really related to her career, but that was the send-off performance of 2020. Like after that performance, everything went downhill. Yeah. So, I mean, if that's the performance we got before it all went downhill, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I totally agree. But we'll definitely have to keep posted. I think they come on November 15th.
November 15th, yep. Yeah. So our next topic is, of course, our weekly discussions on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Did you watch last night?
I did.
What did you think?
I liked it.
Okay.
Sky Jackson got the first 10 of the
first
season.
10. That's insane.
It is
it's
insane.
Only it was week 4, right?
Week 4.
That's crazy.
I think, I don't know, her dance was very emotional. She gave tribute to Cameron Boyce, who passed away due to his epilepsy condition. So I definitely think the performance hit home for her. Emotionally, I think that's why she got the award.
I agree.
Dance-wise, I wouldn't say it was worth the 10, but
Right.
considering one of the judges said like dancing is about the emotional connection, so
Yeah.
I definitely think that's probably why she got it. But
I mean, it
technique-wise,
made Carrie-Anne cry.
exactly.
I think it
I mean, I
really-
was tearing up too, if
Yeah.
we're being completely honest.
So I think emotionally, with that aspect, 3 10s. Like I think she should have gotten 3 10s. But if you take like technical dance and the steps and the arms and the legs, like everything into account, I don't think she necessarily deserved the 10.
I agree.
But I mean, I'm very happy for her because it was an emotional dance for her and it was a really difficult thing for her to go through. So I'm happy that that was a reward that she got out of it. But what were your thoughts on some of the other dances?
Caitlin Bristow, I know
Yes.
you're aiming for her.
I
I think
am.
she definitely
I am.
showed out this
I
time.
think so. Did not disappoint.
Exactly.
Once again.
I know you like her, so I'll let you talk about that a little
Yeah,
bit.
I mean, I think her dance was better than Sky's. I think she just has the technique. She has, again, like I'm going to talk about the arms, but like Sky's arms like just shoot out like this, whereas Caitlin has like
An
a
elegant
flow.
look.
And I think that's what you need. And I think Caitlin's constantly improving every week. Sky went from having like 5s to a 10.
Yeah.
So like I think that like something about that was just off for me. But Caitlin, I think she's constant with her dances. She's constantly on top of the leaderboard. And she went through that injury. Like I think she's in it to win it. I'm still keeping her as my pick. But I mean, Neve did really well again. Justina. I know you like
yeah.
Justina.
I just love her sass. It just makes me really happy.
She has a really nice groove to her.
And she's very supportive too with everyone else. Like you can see
Yeah.
her like, she was cheering for, everyone. And I
Yeah.
thought that was inspiring because you don't have an audience. So
I mean, I thought she's like also willing to do things that not a lot of the other contestants seem to be willing to do. Like the lifts that she does with her partner, I was like blown away.
yeah.
But another dance that blew me away, which was Monica. Her like little trick that she did with her partner, like through the legs and with the lights, like that was super cool. So I was shocked to see her in the bottom 2.
Okay, so let's talk about the bottom 2. There was a little mishap with
what was that about?
I know Tyra, she was saying, okay, it's live television. Obviously, you never know what's going to happen. You have to prepare for the unexpected. And I guess they had the wrong vote count up because she was going through the last 2 and
she said somebody who was safe, but then she just had everybody mixed up.
it was really awkward.
So
too.
I don't know, that was weird. But I don't think Monica deserved to be in the bottom 2.
I agree. I think Nelly. Okay, I love Nelly. Like I love his music,
Yeah.
but his attitude bothers me. He just doesn't seem happy to be there.
He dances like a brick.
Yeah.
Like his shoulders are like up here.
Exactly.
And everyone else like kind of keeps it down. I don't know. He just doesn't look
happy there.
visually appealing
Exactly.
as a dancer. There's other people who like just like I said have groove to them, and he just like I feel like he's waddling his way around the dance floor.
And I know he has like special shoes. Like it's called the shoe surgeon. So he
come
has
on.
like Jordans for his little like
It
dance
makes his
shoes.
feet look like pumpkins.
Yeah. Okay, I do agree with that. You're
I
not
don't
wrong.
know.
You're not wrong.
I'm ready for him to go.
Yeah, it's just his attitude bothers me. He doesn't seem happy. Maybe that's his face.
Maybe.
And sorry, Nelly, if you ever watch this, but it's just a little awkward.
Yeah, I don't know. But Anne Heche went home.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert. Sorry, Emmy, in the control room. I had to spoil it. I was sad to see her go.
Mm-hmm.
I think her dance was so powerful this week with the LGBT activism that she did,
Mm-hmm.
with her costume, her story. I did not know that about her and Ellen.
I didn't either.
That was insane.
I honestly
but-
didn't know who she was until
Yeah.
this episode.
But I was sad to see her go just because of how powerful that dance was.
And she's been in the final for a while. It was like her
Yeah.
and Carol last week. So
yeah.
I agree. I don't think that the coach from Cheer should have been on the final, but I also don't think that she should have went home.
Right.
But you can't have it all. So
I know. Let's keep our fingers crossed for
Yes.
Nelly to go.
yes, please, please.
But we're going to move on to our fashion segment. So we're still going to continue to talk about Dancing with the Stars a little bit, but more of the costumes. So Disney Night was 2 weeks ago. What were some costumes that stood out to you there?
So I think we mentioned it last week. Carol Baskin and her partner, they
What
did
was
the
that?
Lion King. It was amazing. It was
I was
very, I would say, literal. I thought they were actual lions.
Yeah, I was a little scared,
Yeah, it was a little scary.
but I mean, I think they knew they were going home, so gotta
Yeah.
go out with a bang.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, some people, I think it was PETA, Vernon's pro, dressed as Mrs. Potts 2 weeks ago. It looked like Tyra was dressed as Mrs. Potts this week. I mean,
Yeah,
what was
I
that
don't-
dress?
I love Tyra. You know, I've watched her from America's Top Model. Do you want to be on top and all that? But her style, I'm not vibing with it at all.
Some of them are good, some of them are not so good.
I don't understand.
But
And
the-
her
the quick
eyeshadows too
changes,
much. Yeah, I'm like too many. Wasn't she Minnie Mouse for Disney Week?
She was
Mickey Mouse
She was
or
Minnie Mouse. She had some like billboard, like light up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was
I don't
way
know what's
too
going
much
on
for
with
me.
her. I think her first outfit last night was good. Her second one, like, it was literally
like the brown one, and
Yeah.
it like dipped. It was like an
Yeah.
hourglass.
I didn't
But
like
like
it.
the wrong one.
The wrong one. It highlighted the wrong parts of her body.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. But any other outfits that you
Let's see.
liked?
I really liked Sky Jackson's outfit. She was Princess Tiana. She did Almost There, and her outfit was very regal and elegant. So I really liked hers from last week. I think all the outfits from Disney were pretty good. I can't really pinpoint on a favorite one. I think since it was Disney Week, all of them were spectacular. So
I agree. I think there was just a bunch that were, a lot of them were flashy, a lot of them were kind of more casual. But I mean, it's exciting to see how these costumes are turning out, especially ones like the lion, like you said, or just some of them are super interesting.
exactly.
But
And moving forward, we have Rihanna. She had a Savage Fenty show, just in case you guys don't know who Rihanna is, because I know she hasn't had any song tracks lately.
I
but
know.
you know,
Waiting
she's
for that album.
I know it's been how long? Yeah,
not
like
too long.
too long.
But
So
anyway.
she actually also, along with her makeup line, she has a lingerie line, and she had a fashion show recently. I think you can still stream it, but she had Lizzo there, Bella Hadid, Demi Moore, Paris Hilton, Willow Smith, and they were all in attendance, walking the lingerie.
That's a star-studded lineup.
Right, it's very diverse, and I think Rihanna, as well as her makeup line, she tries to make everything diverse for all shapes, sizes, and colors. So I think
Good
that's
for her.
really important.
I know. I love that, especially because not a lot of companies do that.
Exactly.
I think like they think focusing on one thing, like focusing on color and not focusing on shape and size, like they think that they can't do both, but Rihanna's clearly showing that you can. You can
Exactly.
focus on emphasizing people's color and emphasizing their size no matter what. So I think
Exactly.
that's super important.
And for her lingerie line, it's pretty affordable. I went on the website, not to buy anything, but just to like
Just
browse.
to look,
I was like,
for
okay.
the future.
Like compared to, Victoria's Secret, her stuff is pretty affordable and apparently it's really good quality. And it comes in all like colors too. Like anyone could look good in it. So.
Good. And I know there's some, I don't know if this is a thing, but male lingerie.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
But I saw on Twitter, like, she had like plus size models modeling the male lingerie, which everyone was praising. And even the model was like, this helped boost my confidence so much. So I think that her whole brand right now, she's doing really good things for just people in minorities, like in every aspect. So good for her. If you're not going to release an album, keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing it. Empowering out others. That's really important.
Exactly. Next, we have to pay a tribute to designer Kenzo Takada, who is the founder of Kenzo. He died of COVID-19 at age 81. He was an iconic French-Japanese designer, one of the first prominent luxurious designers in Japan. So any thoughts on that?
I'm really sad to hear that he passed away. I know that he was very empowering in the fashion industry. Personally, I've never seen his designs, but I've heard people talk about it. So
yeah, I mean, I have never seen his designs either, but I know that it's a big loss for the fashion industry.
Exactly.
So our well wishes go out to his family and friends. But that's all we have for fashion and entertainment, and we'll be right back after this quick break with coronavirus updates with Liv and Grant.
And welcome back to the Point Blank Coronavirus Update. I'm Liv Rugg.
And I'm Grant Hines, and this week we want to focus on entertainment as it relates to this pandemic, specifically television production, Liv.
That's right, Grant. But before we get into the numbers, we want to send some well wishes to the President and everyone in the White House affected by the coronavirus.
Of course, but the numbers as of October 6 are as follows. In the U.S., we have reached 7.52 million cases, resulting in around 211,000 deaths. Right here in North Carolina, 221,000 cases, resulting in 3,688 deaths. And right here on HBU's campus, we're about the same as last week with 33 active cases and a new category added to the Health Hub this week of suspected cases, and we have 4 of those.
Oh, very nice.
Really interesting. A lot of add some new depth to this pandemic on campus.
That's very helpful. I like how I'm in the loop.
Yep. So this past weekend, SNL came back hot for their 46th season with host Chris Rock and musical guest Megan Thee Stallion. Surprisingly, the audience was a little packed on the floor. I was a little uncomfortable with that, but they were all made up of frontline workers in the pandemic. I like
saw
that.
I was excited about that. Yeah. I thought it was actually really cool. I noticed that most of the skits had to do with the coronavirus, and they actually played off a lot of humor with that.
In true SNL fashion,
Of course, of course. And I think it was, they kept it lighthearted. They talked about the bubble, the bubble draft.
Yep, the NBA, yep.
Of course, and they definitely played on the cold opening with Trump and Biden.
Yep.
And definitely they joked about how Trump ended up getting the coronavirus right after, so the foreshadowing.
I loved Chris Rock's monologue. It was just like the old days when he was at SNL. Again, we had a lot of Trump jokes during the monologue and then also during Weekend Update. And Colin Jost mentioned that if it was the other way around, if Biden had gotten COVID, Trump probably would have mocked him at one of his rallies if he was on like a ventilator or something.
Classic.
But like I said earlier, we want to highlight some of the TV production in the professional industry as it relates to this pandemic. So I don't know if you watched The Tonight Show, which is also produced by NBC, just like SNL.
I love Jimmy.
But Jimmy has mentioned that some of the precautions that they're taking at NBC is testing everybody, production crew and talent have to get tested multiple times a week. Everyone except talent have to wear a mask. They're doubling up with the mask and face shield, so very protective.
Good.
And SNL actually used the Tonight Show studio to house part of their band, so that they could be socially distanced. Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people noticed that, but during the breaks they kind of show the like the transition and how everyone's setting up for the segment.
Oh, yeah.
And that was one of the things.
Yeah, and I noticed that they had masks on, like the musicians, like if
Yep,
you didn't play something that goes in your mouth. And
Exactly.
that was great. I love that.
Yeah, and actually Jimmy Fallon is using the studio across from his set, Studio 6A. He's usually in 6B to for the time being while he has no audience. And the set is set up like his home because he did the show from his home in Long Island for several months due to COVID.
Wow.
So they built him a whole new set across the hall that kind of mimics his home. And it's really nice because since he doesn't have an audience, it kind of gives you a homey feel.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, well, that is what we have for this week's coronavirus update. And always, please remember to wear your mask, wash your hands frequently, and stay physically distant from others when you can. And let's please do our part to keep those numbers down on campus.
Please, let's get those numbers down to 0 by next week. But that's it for this week, and stay safe, HBU. And now it's time for sports. Hey, guys.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back into the HPU Point Blank Sports Update. My name is Danny Shea. That's Ethan Smith. And speaking of the coronavirus across all the leagues, but especially the NFL, Ethan, we've had multiple COVID positive tests. Can you give us an update on that?
Yes, I can. So they had a huge headline come out when the Tennessee Titans announced that they had a whopping 9 positive tests. It was absolutely insane hearing about that coming out of their Week 3 game at Minnesota. A lot of people were mad about it. A lot of fans were mad about it. The NFL was actually forced to postpone their Week 4 game against the Steelers until Week 8. They had to shuffle a couple teams bye weeks around, but they eventually did get that squared away. Cam Newton of the Patriots, the biggest name to have tested positive, as well as Jordan Ta'amu of the Chiefs.
I'm not too upset about Cam Newton. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, that stinks. But yeah, Cam Newton and the Patriots taking a heavy loss there. But it showed really in their game Monday night against the Chiefs. Brian Hoyer just didn't have it. Jarrett Stidham didn't have it, and they took an unfortunate loss to the reigning Super Bowl champions who go to 4-0 in the year.
They sure did. And also, we had A.J. Terrell, a rookie corner for the Atlanta Falcons. He also tested positive, although it did not affect their Monday night game against the Green Bay Packers. I mean,
Clearly, they still lost.
They did, and I mean, I'm not sure if the rookie corner would have made as much of a difference, but it was interesting to see. And also, thankfully, we did have one false positive. Michael Burton, fullback for the New Orleans Saints. He was suspected to have tested positive, but they did him again, and it turns out it was a false positive.
So let me ask you a question quick. With all these positive tests, what do you think is going to happen? Does this have any implication on the league going forward? Do you think they finish the season? What do you think about all that stuff?
I think that they finished the season. I do think that they have been able to get the situation under control with the Tennessee Titans. It did come out recently that ever since they had those 9 positive tests, they did 2 straight days where they tested everybody at the facility and no positive tests were recorded. So they were able to get that under control. I think the team that really has the most amount of implications is the New England Patriots, because obviously you have Cam Newton, who is their star now. He is their star player, and I mean, now that he tested positive, they're going to be without him for at least 2 weeks as long as his symptoms stay under control. So we're going to have to see the Brian Hoyer and Jarrett Stidham show in New England, and based on what we saw against the Chiefs, I'm not sure if they want to keep that going for very long.
Yeah, that did not look good. But headed to the MLB now, the playoffs have begun, and the Rays, Yankees, Astros, and Athletics all won their wild card series, advancing to the ALDS. Now it's the Tampa Bay Rays against the New York Yankees, and the Houston Astros against the Oakland Athletics. Let me tell you right now, the Houston Astros, coming off of 2017, not everybody giving them all sorts of stuff for cheating and everything like that, but they've shown up against the Oakland Athletics so far. They went up 2-0 today after winning this afternoon at Dodger Stadium, but what do you think about the Houston Astros? Do they have a shot at making another run here?
I think that they have a shot, especially considering how much that they've been disrespected. I mean, granted, the disrespect was warranted.
Yeah.
They did cheat. They did prove it. So, I mean, it's not like they're getting disrespected for no reason. However, when you get just bashed year after year for the same mistakes, you're going to come back angry. And I mean, that's what the Houston Astros are doing, absolutely wiping the floor with the Oakland Athletics right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Shifting over to the National League, the Dodgers, Braves, Padres, and Marlins, surprisingly, all winning their series, advancing to the NLDS. The Dodgers taking on the San Diego Padres in a battle of California, and the Atlanta Braves taking on the Miami Marlins in an NL East showdown. And the Miami Marlins, little known fact, they're 7-0 in postseason series in franchise history.
Wow.
A team that nobody expected to win a round. They sweep the Chicago Cubs. Do the Marlins have a chance here?
I mean, you never know. I mean, you asked somebody a couple years ago if the Miami Marlins have a shot at making the World Series, somebody might laugh at you.
Yeah.
Like they were for the longest time one of those laughing stock teams, one of those teams that a lot of people just kind of forgot about. But I mean, out of nowhere, with this shortened COVID season, with everything that's been going on, they've been playing surprisingly well.
I know.
And I mean, obviously with that upset in the last round, I mean, you never know what it could be.
Let's make some really quick predictions here. In the National League, I have the Dodgers coming out, and in the American League, I'm going to take the Houston Astros. I think they look really good right now as a possible World Series contender. Who do you got for a possible World Series matchup?
I think I'm going with the Yankees in the National League. I think that they have obviously one of the most talented rosters in the MLB with guys like Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. So it's kind of hard to bet against the Yankees. Granted, the Astros did end up beating them.
I know.
But I mean, the Yankees are kind of hard to bet against even with that past history. And in the National League, I'm going to go with the Padres.
Okay.
Honestly, I mean, they were one of the hottest teams in that final stretch heading into the postseason. And I mean, so far that they've been proven that they are here. They are here to stay. They got a talented young roster. We'll see what happens, though.
Yeah, from the MLB bubble, let's shift over to the NBA bubble in Orlando, Florida. The Los Angeles Lakers and the Miami Heat in the 2020 NBA Finals. Game 1, Lakers dominated. Heat having a 13-point lead early in the first quarter, but the Lakers come back. Anthony Davis dominates, and they win big in Game 1.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I remember watching that game, and just it was just remarkable just how far ahead the Lakers had gotten at one point. I think they were up by at least 40 points.
Yeah, it was
and I mean,
crazy.
That is the likes that have never been seen before in the NBA Finals. I mean, at least in my lifetime.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, LeBron and Anthony Davis absolutely showing everybody why everyone's been so scared of the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, they combined for 32 and 33 points. Getting into Game 2, they had similar performances. Anthony Davis had 34, and LeBron James put up 25 and 9 assists and 13 rebounds. The Heat were able to make it a little bit closer, but I mean, it was still a double-digit loss for them.
Yeah, for sure. Let's shift over to Game 3, though, the game that every single person is talking about. Jimmy Butler goes off. Jimmy Butler, the fourth 40-point triple-double in NBA Finals history, and the Miami Heat steal a game that they desperately needed.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, a fun fact that a lot of people may not realize, Jimmy Butler is the third Miami Heat player to score 40 points in the NBA Finals. The other two, Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, who he happens to be playing against. One highlight that I think that really stood out to me was coming off of a timeout, I think it was, Jimmy Butler looks over at the Lakers bench and just, y'all in trouble.
Yeah.
And I mean, they absolutely were. Jimmy Butler could not be stopped, even with the losses of Goran Dragic, who has that torn plantar fascia, and Bam Adebayo, who they have back tonight.
Yes.
But I mean, he was able to put the team on his back, which is something that he hasn't really had to do so far this series.
Nope, but Game 4 tips off tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Like you mentioned, Bam Adebayo is back for the Miami Heat. That's going to wrap up this week's episode of Point Blank. My name is Danny Shea. That's Ethan Smith. And for everyone here at Point Blank, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.